Welcome to Larry's Library. This week, instead of doing a comic review, I'm going to let you take a look at a bunch of comic book ads that I have scanned. Now, these were all scanned out of single-issue comic books, and most of them are Marvel House ads. I've got a couple DC ones, and then I've got a few third-party ads that I thought were kind of cool or interesting, and I thought I'd share it with y'all. I got my tablet with me, so I'm going to look at them as I talk about them. And of course, I'll put them up here like I do all the scans in all these videos. Got my glasses because I'm an old man and I might need to read a copyright date. So this first one is The Green Machine. And the copyright on this one is 76. So this is going back a ways. And this was a weird big wheel variant that existed back then. And this was like a half-page ad in a lot of the Marvel comic books at the time. And I remember this machine. I remember wanting one. I remember the TV ads for this. I remember wanting one really bad. And I think I did end up getting one that my parents got at a Goodwill or something secondhand a few years later. I think. Or maybe I'm remembering riding on a neighbor kid's. I don't know. It seems like I had one, though, at one point. But if you guys have ever had, if any of you are old enough to have had a big wheel, you know, they had the big plastic wheels. And they would invariably, if you rode them very much, after a while, you're going down the sidewalk and you would get a hole. It would just wear a hole right through the wheel. And then it was no fun. Okay. The second two are Slim Jim ads. And I thought these were the greatest. I don't know who did the art, but I think they're beautiful. The first one is a werewolf, as you can see here. And the second one is a Dracula. And I thought these ads were awesome. I believe these were late 70s too, I'm pretty sure. I love these. Now, this third one, Big Jim's Pack. And Pack stood for Professional Agents and Crime Killers. And I remember wanting these really bad. They were action figures. And they came with like weapon accessories and whatnot. I'm pretty sure this ad is by Kirby. It's not signed, but it sure does look like Jack Kirby art. If it's not Jack Kirby art, it's someone doing a really good Jack Kirby imitation, I think. But let's see if I can get a date on this one. Looks like 75. Yeah, 1975 Mattel. Okay, now the next one is an AD&D cartridge for Mattel. So this was one of the early video game systems. Let's see if I can figure out which system. In television. Okay, Mattel and television. Yeah, I was not into video games that far back. Some of my friends were, of course. But I definitely wasn't into AD&D. But the tabletop, dice and paper version, I never played this. But I thought it was an interesting ad. Some cool artwork here. Now, this one, I believe, is an old, let's see, I think it's TSR. Doesn't say that, but it's certainly someone that was competing with TSR. TSR was the original game company that Dungeons & Dragons came out under. I don't think they exist anymore. They've probably been bought out by Wizards of the Coast or one of those, I don't know. But this was Attack of the Mutants. I don't think I ever got this, but I remember these full-page ads in the comic books. I don't know if there's a year on this one or not. Let's see. Now, I don't see an ad, but I thought it was some really cool artwork. And I remember these were in the inside front page of a lot of comic books way back when. Now, okay, wait, here's another one. It's another Dungeons & Dragons. And this was definitely TSR. Yeah, even says TSR right there. But I remember these ads. And they actually continued. I only have the one scanned. But there was a bunch of these. And they continued the adventure. It was a little comic strip. And then you could send away for the catalog of TSR if you wanted to cut your comic book up, Eek. I never did that. I never cut my comic books up for these coupons or mail-offs. But I did read them. And I like the artwork in them. Now, this is an ad for Star Trek The Motion Picture, and I think this was the back cover of a lot of comic books at the time. I'm thinking this was what, 80, 81? I didn't look this up ahead of time. I can't remember when the first Star Trek movie came out. Let's see if I can make it out here. Probably can't. I mean, these are pretty good scans, but I wasn't working with very good originals on these, so yeah, I don't know. I'll look it up and I'll superimpose it here in post, the year this came out. And this was a lot later, of course, because this is Sarah Michelle Gellar doing a milk ad here. And these were the back covers of a bunch of comic books. And this was much later. This was during the time when she was on TV, you know, as Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So I'm not sure the year on that either. And this was a few years after that. This is Family Guy. It's a Family Guy ad. This was a full pager. Now, as you guys know, I'm not a big DC guy. Don't have a lot of DC books, at least compared to the vast amount of Marvel I have. But I do have a few, and one of my favorite DC characters is Man-Bat. So when I found this full-page ad in one of the DC books I have, I did scan it. And I love this ad. Cool stuff here. Love the Man-Bat. The only other DC ad I'm featuring here is this one for Warlord Toys. These were Remco branded toys, action figures. I never seen one of these in real life, but I remember these ads. Now, I don't think this is signed anywhere, but this sure does look like Bob Layton art to me. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. This looks a lot like Bob Layton to me. It also looks like it might be Bob Layton inked by Terry Austin. Those are some really fine, tight inks. Of course, Bob Layton is known for that, but so is Terry Austin. Yeah, if I had to guess, I would say this is Bob Layton pencils and inked by Terry Austin, but I could be way off, but it sure does look like it. Yeah, I love this art too. And I love all those characters. I don't think I've ever seen those action figures in real life. Let me know in the comments if you have any of these. Now we get into the bulk of this collection, the gallery, if you will. And these are Marvel House ads. And there's a lot of them. And they are mostly full-page ads, and they're awesome. This was for The Living Mummy. This would be another late 70s. Supernatural thrillers, The Living Mummy. Living Money. Then we got a full-page ad for The Invaders. More late 70s awesomeness here. 1979's copyright on this. I can read that one without the glasses. And I've got a bunch of Micronauts ads here. Just beautiful stuff. This one's Michael Golden, obviously. This is Gil Kane, for sure. I don't know who's doing the inks, but that is Gil Kane. I'm positive of that. I believe this is Pat Broderick. This looks like Pat Broderick to me. Let me know if you disagree, but I'm pretty sure that's who this is. Another Micronauts ad. I believe this is Butch Guice. There is a signature. Let's see if I can zoom in far enough to read it. Yep, Butch Guice. Bill Sienkiewicz Moon Knight ad. Love it. These are Dennis Cohen. Dennis? I believe it's pronounced Dennis. Ads here. Love that. I think that is Cohen also. Not sure. It looks a little like Bill Sienkiewicz, but sometimes they look similar. Love this ad. Another full pager. And then this is the companion ad that goes with it. Yeah, it's Bill Sienkiewicz because you can clearly see the BS in this one. Really cool Hulk ad here. And this was during the time when it was on, the original TV show was still on. Master of Kung Fu, Mike Zeck art. Beautiful Mike Zeck work. This is a Leialoha. Never sure how to pronounce that guy's last name, but this is an Iron Man ad, full pager. Dazzler ad. Beautiful Doctor Strange ad. I think that's probably Marshall Rogers, but I could be wrong. Could be Frank Miller. Defender's full pager. This is one of those times where I guess toward the end of the original Defenders run, when the group changed up quite a bit. Ad for the Fantastic Four cartoon series. This was a half-pager, I believe. And interesting thing about that cartoon series, I used to watch it when I was a little kid. Every Saturday morning I would watch that. Is they thought the Human Torch would be too scary for children, or that children might decide to set themselves on fire. So he was replaced by Herbie the Robot. So. It's a Spider-Woman ad here. This one wasn't even a half page. This was like a quarter page ad, I believe. And I got a bunch of subscription ads. They were just some of the coolest ads. 1978, mentioning Star Wars here. This is another quarter page ad, I believe. Kazard. And a lot of these subscription ads featured some just beautiful John Byrne art. And here's one of them here. More John Byrne art. It's time with Inhumans. And John Byrne was just the greatest. He might be a jerk in real life, but man, his art, his Marvel art is just unbeatable. More John Byrne goodness. Subscription Club. Of course, this is John Byrne when he was on Alpha Flight. Lots of house ads for that came through. I believe this was a quarter page ad for Simonson's Thor. And Balder the Brave was a miniseries that spun out of that he did. It was also great. It's in the omnibus too. If you have that, you'll remember it. Beautiful art. And this is my last one. This is late 90s ad for Wolverine versus Sabretooth, for Wolverine 126 specifically. And they did it in the style of a ticket to like a wrestling match or something, or a boxing match. It's pretty cool. So that's all I got. Hopefully I didn't go through these too fast. If I did, I may have to just insert some dead space with no audio to make this flow well enough so you can get a good look at these. But yeah, I had a lot of fun looking at these again, and may do a sequel one day where I include stuff I've scanned since. Because while I don't still collect single-issue comic books, I mean I do, but I'm only finishing up a few runs that aren't available in any sort of collected edition. So it's possible I may run across a few more, and I still have almost a long box full of unread singles that I'm going through weekly. I read at least 1 or 2 singles a week, in addition to all my Omni reading and hardcover stuff. So as I scan those covers to put in my database, I may scan a few more interior ads. So if you like this kind of stuff, if this video does good, if it's something that interests you, I may do a sequel one day. But I hope you liked taking a look at these beautiful old comic book ads. If you like this kind of material and you want to see more of it, please hit the subscription button if you haven't already. Bell notify yourself so you don't miss out. And come on back next week, if not before. And I'll see you again.